Drop in. What's the weather like where you at? All right. Good morning to the YouTubers. We're going to go live here in about 30 seconds. Um, thank you for joining me this morning. For those of you who are in the Zoom room, how is my volume? Is it too low or is it just right before I get started? What's just right, Michelle? Right. Where is my, there you go. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's presentation. I pray things are well for each of you as we start into a new week. I'm glad you have chose to join me here at this each and every Sunday where we're here for Solution Sunday seminars. So this morning, before I dive into this morning's um, presentation, I would like to just share a quick story with you all. Many years ago, I was working on a project that I was really eager to complete, get it launched, but many obstacles kept on delaying it. At the time, I saw those delays as frustrating roadblocks, but now today I can look back and I realized that they were essential to the refining of my vision. And now, even more, when I hear the quote, hindsight is 2020, it has more of a meaning for me because I can see how it's important that we realize that the delays are not denials, which I've spoken to in the past, but they really are setting us up to be in alignment with what's going on right here, right now. So this is the essence of the seed principle that I was talking about on a couple weeks ago. And I want to kind of recapitulate, go back through some things as we're going to do a deeper dive this Tuesday night. I didn't get to do it last time we had the lesson. So what I did, I spent a little more time just reflecting on what had been shared. And so I'm kind of going to share with you some things that I'm adding to what we went over last time. So when we talk about the seed principle, what seems like to be setbacks in our lives are actually setting us up for greater success. I've asked you before, have you ever felt stuck? Like your own progress was on pause. But what if I told you today that your waiting season is actually your growing season? When it appears to be dormant, you're not really in a state of dormancy in the spiritual sense, but in the natural sense, because things are not moving, you tend to think everything is just on hold. Let's look at nature. In nature, a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted. It enters a phase of dormancy, ensuring that when it finally emerges, it does so at the optimal time, in due season. This same principle applies to our own personal lives. Our personal lives, our spiritual and professional growth is steeped inside of understanding this principle. Delays are not denials. You often hear me say that. They really are divine preparations. So today, we're going to explore a little deeper the seed principle. It's a powerful perspective on how delays shape our success and even add to our transformation. I often say we grow through what we go through. many people don't want to go through anything. And you can observe that by as soon as they get in the midst of something, they start asking for something. They start trying to pray their way out instead of when you find yourself in the midst of something, you want to sit in it until you understand how did it come about? Was it something that you had a direct involvement in? So there's a lesson for you, or perhaps you happen to be part of someone else's lesson. And so don't be so quick to try to change situations. So that's really important. So I want you this morning to think back, because when we're talking about the seed dormancy, we're also talking about a level of delayed gratification. So take a moment and think about something you've been waiting for. Now, that shouldn't be difficult because I've asked you this before and 3 weeks ago. A goal, an opportunity, or a breakthrough. Now, I would like you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, how patient you've been in waiting or in the waiting period or the period of dormancy. Now go ahead and share your numbers in the chat or just jot it down. This exercise is going to help you become more aware of your own capacity of patience. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how patient have you been in the waiting period? Okay, I like that honesty. 5. So that means some days you're right there with it. Some days you're kind of anxious about it. And that's normal. You're going to fluctuate, but you want to make sure that when you are feeling impatient, that you don't allow that to grow, that seed, that thought to grow, because what it can then do is unseat your intention. So you always got to keep a sense of where you at now. 7 is where we want to be. I say 8, 7, 8, 9, or 8, 9, 10 is where you want to be. You ultimately want to get to you around 9, because as a human being, we have situations that come and they can kind of catch us off guard. And it's normal to observe something that may reflect back to you that it hasn't, the thing you're desiring, the thing you've been waiting on isn't here. And it's normal to have that angst or that feeling as though it's delayed. But we want to be careful when we're at the lower end of that spectrum, because it's saying that we're fluctuating. It's saying that we really have not come to grips with the reality of the thing desired is desiring us. We haven't come to grips with the reality of the time that we walk inside of in this physical dimension is not real time. It's an illusionary time. The real time is the moment you ask for it, you get it. Now, we when we talk about asking or decreeing, we're doing it from a mature place. That is, we don't just ask or decree everything, particularly to get out of something or to get something, but we sit in the silence, we sit in meditation, and when we get the clarity of the thing desired, then we speak it into existence. That's why the principle that most carpenters use is to measure twice and cut once. That is, think about as a man thinketh, so is he. So think about the things you're going to pull into your world or decree into your world. And many times we decree in things into our world that don't really represent our highest and greatest good, or maybe unnecessary at that very moment. That's why you can allow what you see on the outside, the marketing, the conversations, all those things to impact you on the inside. So we live and we create from the inside out, not from the outside in. So that's really important that we get to that. Okay. Many of us, including myself, we struggle with patience, wanting immediate results. But the research has shown that those who master delayed gratification often achieve greater success. When you cannot delay your gratification, you will find yourself taking wrong steps or you're not taking right actions. So that's really important. There was a marshmallow test that was done some time ago by a scientist by the name of Walter Mischel. And he demonstrated that children who could delay gratification perform better academically and socially. They would put the marshmallows on the table and step out of the room and tell the kid, don't eat it or don't touch it or whatever. Some kids were able to do that, but for some, it was just too enticing because they wanted it right now. So to be successful in life, one of the things we have to do is become comfortable with delayed gratification. If you're working out and you're trying to get into peak performance or peak shape, you're going to have to be okay with it's not going to happen overnight. You didn't get to where you are overnight. So you got to be willing to be comfortable to sit inside of delayed gratification. Our ability to wait is linked to the brain development, particularly what they call the prefrontal cortex. This governs our self-control and decision making. And if it's not developed properly, then you have poor self-control. Your decision-making skills is off. That's why we have to teach our children, train our children, get them in a position where just because they ask for it now, they don't get it now. Teach them how to be patient, how to wait. Now, what patience does is strengthens resilience, it enhances our focus, and it leads to a more fulfilling long-term success. Now, that's what patience. Patience is not just about waiting. Patience is also about growing. Patience is also about trusting. You know, think of a time when waiting paid off for you. How did that experience shape your character? That's a reflection. I want you to maybe write it down and spend some time inside of that. When you think of a time when waiting paid off, how did that experience shape your character? Okay, that's being tried by fire. When we can wait, when it appears to be a delay, when everybody is getting through, getting by, moving on, but yours hasn't come yet, your ship hasn't come in yet. How did you deal with that? And if you dealt with that, can you see what came from that? Maybe you avoided some things. So let's take a moment and look at some spiritual perspectives on this topic of delay. So in Neville Goddard, so there's three people I want to highlight today: Neville Goddard, Dr. Joseph Murphy. He's the power of the subconscious mind, and then Ernest Holmes. So I want to focus on those three quotes that came to me, or individuals that kind of impacted my thinking this week. Neville teaches that sources delays are not denials. Basically, he believes that every pause serves a purpose in refining our vision. Think about it. Every pause you have experienced refines your vision. It gives you clarity. Sometimes a pause can even get you to the point where you may say, this delay has shown me that I really don't need that. Or this delay has shown me that I'm glad I didn't do that. So you should find gratitude in what is a delay and not truly a denial. Dr. Joseph Murphy, he is the author of the book Not Think and Grow Rich, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. In his teachings, he emphasizes that our subconscious mind, where the program is, works with divine timing. Affirmations and visualizations help align us with that timing. So when we are feeling anxious, when we are bumping up against what looks like a denial, we can get back to it's only a delay by having affirmations at our ready, or to go into the visualization process, that is stepping back into it's already happened. And if we can do those things, it helps us get transitional through periods of delay and impatience. So that's important when you realize that there's something you can do while you're going through. Now, Ernest Holmes, he's the divine science, highlights the law of attraction. That's part of that teaching comes out of that. Our delays may be the universe preparing the way for our manifestation, or our delay could be aligned with others who are involved with it. Maybe there's someone who is waiting to retire, and that's the position you want. So the delay is not so much about you, but everything being in divine alignment. We are all one. And so we, in concert, we impact one another. And sometimes what I'm waiting on could be tied to where you're at. It depends, so where someone else is at, so you just have to be patient. So your waiting seasons of your life are actually your working season. I want you to say that right where you are. My waiting season is my working season. Now let's look at that. The question is, are you resisting or cooperating with the process? That's where the work is. Learning, assessing, and being willing to cooperate with the process. Okay. We always talk about it works if you work it. What's even truer, it works when you work it. Now, here's a reflection. What if your delay is actually your preparation? How would that change the way you respond to waiting? So you can hang your head on that this week. My delay, perhaps, is part of my preparation. Okay? My delay is perhaps part of my preparation. So nature teaches us a lot. When we look at, we started off talking about the science of the seed dormancy. Okay. Many cultures have proverbs that emphasize the power of patience. For example, one of our proverbs in the African community is, however long the night, the dawn will break. You hear that? However long the night, the dawn will break. Just like seeds wait for the perfect moment to sprout, our growth is governed by divine timing. The question is, are you willing to trust the process? Now, think about that. Are you really wishing you say one thing, but your behavior shows something else? Nature has already given us the blueprint for success. Let's look at what seeds teach us about delays now. Now, I'm recapitulating. You should be kind of familiar with this because we talked about it a couple weeks ago. We talked about seed dormancy, and seed dormancy is a survival mechanism which ensures the plant germinates at the right time. That's why you got to plant it deep enough. Because if you don't plant it deep enough, then it may attempt to come forward at the wrong time, prematurely, or you plant it too deep, and then it never has the ability to get through the darkness, the deepness, because it was planted at the wrong depth. So just as a seed undergoes dry after ripening, we go through the seasons that prepare us for breakthrough. So a seed has to usually when it comes out, it sits there, it dries, and it looks like it's nothing. But after it's sown, so it has to be ripe for the time to sow. We also go through seasons in our lives that prepare us for our breakouts. Some people say a breakthrough, but for us to come forward. So our delays allow for the right environmental conditions. That's why it says, in due season, you shall reap a harvest. All right. So your delay allows for the right environmental condition, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, for you to for you to have the growth you need. And during that time, you get to see that the universe conspires with you, that it supports you. Now, seed dormancy is a big part of today's conversation. And the reason why I'm laying into that, because too many of us, some people believe the next 4 years that nothing's going to happen for them. That may be true and it may not be true. Maybe that what is happening was meant to happen. Well, so whatever is happening is the right thing to be happening. And what it gives you the opportunity to do is stand inside of your beliefs, operate according to the things that represent masterful next steps. So that's important. So if I want you to imagine if a seed tried to rush the process, sprouting in the dead of winter. We just came out of winter, and you know how brutal winters can be. If it would not survive, would it or would it not? In most cases, it wouldn't. The same applies for each of us. Same applies to our goals we set. The waiting season is the working season. It ensures longevity. It ensures, though it tarry, it says, it shall come forth. Now, what are some actionable strategies we have explored in the past that I want to revisit? One, I want you to speak life into your waiting season simply by saying something like, I trust divine timing. Simply by saying, things are always working out for me, even when they don't appear to be working out for me. Guess what? They're working out for me. So you got to have some affirmations at your ready. Remember, we talk about the 17 seconds. They build on one another. So in the first 17 seconds, you have the opportunity when you have that negative thought, that unrealistic thought that says you've been denied, you got to use the next 17 seconds to offset it. And that's when you pull your affirmations out. You started using them. And when you begin to build that energy of canceling out that first 17 seconds, now you have that final 17 seconds. And that's called the 68-second principle that the Abraham Hicks introduces to. So you have 68 seconds to align your thoughts with the thing desired. But if you don't do that, now what you're doing is you're digging up the intention that you have set. So that's really important. Another thing is visualization as part of your process while you are in dormancy. See yourself already achieving the goal. And I want you to feel the joy of its realization. Living, Neville talks about living from the end as if it's already happened. And it's the joy that breaks forth in a realization. Realization starts in the inside, not on the outside. So you want to do that. You also want to practice what I call mindfulness, staying present, finding joy in today. Okay, maybe you can't walk around the block, but walk to the door. And maybe you have mastered walking to the door. Now step out and walk a little further. Maybe you haven't been to the gym in 3 to 6 months or a year. Start today. This is the day that makes a difference. What you're doing in this moment. When we talk about mindfulness, we're talking about being present, finding joy in where you are, okay? And looking for the silver lining in the midst of the storm. Now, another thing you want to do while you are in what appears to be a waiting season, you don't want to buckle under the WEIGHT, the weight, WIEGHT, the weight, the heaviness of the WAIT. And so while you're waiting, you can set interim goals. You could break your larger vision into smaller milestones. So if the thing that I'm desired has not come forth in this realm, what thing should I be taking on now as if it's already happened? Okay, so you're going to think about, if I had that, what would I be doing? And you start doing those things now. You know, that's important. So that's really important. Many times we don't take that in consideration. Sometimes the thing we desire is not showing up in our life because we don't have space. You're looking for a husband, but you got 5 men. Or you're looking for a wife and you have, all these other distractions. And so what you have to begin to ask yourself, is my life today correlating with, resonating with the same frequency of that life I desire to live, the thing that's already happened? That's important. So you got to do some self-assessments during the dormancy stage. Now, which of these strategies will you commit to applying this week? Will it be affirmations? Will it be visualization? Will it be mindfulness, or will it be setting an interim goal? Or it could be a milieu of them, using them all together. But do something this week. I want you to do that. So our final reflection for the next week, I really challenge each of you to embrace your waiting season, whatever you're waiting on, to embrace it intentionally. Maybe waiting on a windfall. You embrace it. You may be waiting on a decision. You embrace it because it's already happened. Each evening, I want you to take 5 minutes to journal. What did I learn about patience today? And how is this delay preparing me for what's next? So at the end of the week, reflect on how your perspectives have shifted. I really would love to hear what you discover. So when we reconvene, perhaps we can start our conversation with that, or you can shoot me an email. Now, what if I told you that your greatest success is just on the other side of this waiting season? What if I told you that the delay is proof of your upcoming breakthrough? Well, it is. And we have to know that. So this next 7 days, embrace the waiting. Shift from frustration to faith. Faith being leaning into the principles, practicing the principles. Use this time to prepare for what's coming. Then come back and share with us what changed in your perspective. It's good to see each of you that have joined us this morning. So in closing, I'm not just waiting. So let's do this. I'm going to give you an affirmation. We're going to affirm it together. So the first time through, I'll speak it, and then I want you to join in with me in speaking it. If you could do that, once you do that this morning, you're going to participate. So here's the affirmation. I'm not just waiting. I am growing. I trust that my delay is my preparation. My season of harvest is coming. Okay? I'm not just waiting. I am growing. I trust that my delay is my preparation. My season of harvest is coming. Let's do that one more time. I am not just waiting. I am growing. I trust that the delay is my preparation. My season of harvest is coming. And so it is. So remember, a seed never doubts the sun, even when it's buried underground. It grows towards it. It finds its innate knowingness. A seed never grows in the wrong direction. It always sprouts in the right direction. So you too must trust the process. If you are source's highest manifestation of creation, we're source's crowning glory. It's going to see you to your expected end if you trust. Don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. Trust yourself and know that your breakthrough is already on the way. Now, I just hear in my spirit that I need to say to someone out there, stop messing up the process of growth of someone else. Just because you have the wherewithal to help them, to change the situation, you got to check in to make sure you're not hurting them, harming them. it's really important that you realize that. Now, I have an example. My son has had some challenges, and it's so difficult to sit back and see him go through the challenges when in some instances I had the wherewithal to really help him. But I had to sit back. And I believe that, first of all, the scripture says, source will get us to our expected end. And that's the scripture I hold for all of my children. And on the way to the expected end, they have dramas and delays. And it's so easy to, because you are blood, because you love them, to step in. But sometimes love is not delivering someone, love can be delaying your interaction and that they can get the lesson. And I kind of think I'm saying this to all of us who are parents. I look through the room, I see Alan's not a parent in the sense of having any biological children that I'm aware of, but he has come alongside of a number of youth that are grown people now. Mom has four. Genevieve, I think you have one, two. Michelle has, I think she has about four. Rachel, I'm not sure how many. So Cheryl, see, I know she has one or three. So what I need us all to know that we have a common um, um, challenge because we love our children. I don't care, they could be adult children, but we have to learn how to. And some of us as children have to learn how to delay. Sometimes that I knew I could go to my mom, or I could go to Cheryl, or I can go even coming to some of you all. But I didn't take advantage of that because I knew I need to be in this and that I need to see that God could work it out. Source through me, as me, can work it out. Sometimes we are dependent, leaning heavily on other people to do for us what we are supposed to be able to do for ourselves. And I think that is a big problem with the African American community, that we have become so accustomed to someone giving us something, doing something for us, instead of for us doing it ourselves. That's one of the principles of Kwanzaa. It talks about kujitalia, to do for, to name for ourselves what we have allowed others to do for us. Because we are the masters of our lives. We are also the masters of the misery that we are dealing with. By the stories we speak, truth to power. So I just want to encourage you all to know that what appears to be a denial has just been a delay. And some of the delays give us the ability to say, I don't need that. I don't want to do that. It's an opportunity for us also to realize that we can't get in the way of other people going through what they're going to grow through. Now, there you have it. Rachel says, ouch, stop messing up the growth of someone else. That's right. She has four adult children. I have four adult children. So I already know what you go through. Sometimes I wish my kids were still little, 8, 9, 10, because at least you know where they were at night. You know what was going on in their lives, what was troubling them, what was challenging them. You were there to kind of put some borders on what direction they go. But as they grow in age and become grown, they make their own decisions. And sometimes their decisions is theirs to deal with. Sometimes you're not supposed to intervene. You could say, I care about you. I'm concerned about you. I'm praying for you. I'm standing in alignment with you. And have that conversation with them. So that's important. So as we prepare to wrap up this morning, I want to say thank you for all of you who have joined us this morning. For those of you who have joined over in the Zoom room, I pray that not the Zoom room, the YouTube channel. I pray that something has been said that's been uplifting and encouraging to you, and that you find a sense of peace in the direction that your life is going in. Yes, peace. Part of the delay process is that you are able to sit in peace no matter what is going on. No matter what's going on, can you sit in peace, or do you run into turbulence and you have a lot of um, things going on that you don't have to have going on? So let me look over here. See, have a number of people watching in the YouTube room, and I don't see any dialogue there. So we're going to get ready to wrap it up this morning. And I want to encourage you all, if you don't know, you ought to know, on tomorrow, Monday, the 10th, I will be conducting a free webinar on 20 things you need to know about what we call AI, or the real word is large language models, such as ChatGPT, Genie, or it could be Perplexity, Claude. These are what is just labeled as AI, that many people are afraid of, or they're not using it properly. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. So I'm going to educate you on some things that, for those of you who are using it, that you'll be more conscientious, because it can, if not used properly, can put you into some situations that you may not want to find yourself in. So that's tomorrow. I'll make sure the email goes out later on. I'm preparing some things for those. It's free. Say free. That means only thing it costs you is your time. And it has value, although I'm presenting it as free. It's a value-based proposition that you don't have to pay cash for. You use your time. And then also, I've created a unique Facebook community, AI Mastery Circle, and that's for individuals who want to just keep up with the day-to-day developments, because this is a fast-growing conversation and application. And a lot of people are using yesterday's understanding, and it's limited in what you're going to get out of this powerful tool. So I encourage you. Now, everybody don't necessarily need it, but the majority of you, if you're still in the work world, if you still have some productive years in front of you, you want to use it. And even if you are aging, there are some things you can find if you're using Chat GPT in particular properly. It can help you a lot. So that's coming down the pike this week. On Tuesday nights, we'll be together for a deeper dive inside of this conversation. Then Monday through Friday, I hope you can find time to join me for morning meditation. Some of you I haven't seen there in a while. Go to the website, www.solutions for a living, and that's spelled SOULUTIONS. And I want you to poke around out there, but you'll find out everything you need to know if you get out there. Now, some of you need to get to work, and you need to do that with the assistance of a professional like me. So it will be time well spent, and resources sold into the right field. So consider getting some coaching if you have a situation in your life. Yeah, I can work with you. My rates are really, really reasonable, probably the most reasonable, because I have mastered how to provide the level of services without having to spend a lot of my time. I've been in this game for a long time. So those are my offers for you. Now, I have a window of opportunity. If this teaching today has been a blessing to you, has been a lesson for you, if you have found value in it, consider sowing a seed today. And that seed could be sown to the phone number 708-368-1076. You could use that phone number inside of Zelle and Cash App. Okay, 708-368-1076. So I thank those of you who are sowing seeds into my life, into the work that I'm currently doing, and it gives me the ability to continue to do it. To also, it waters the work, so I appreciate it. No matter how, there's no such thing as a small gift. There's no such thing as an insignificant gift, unless it comes from your head and not your heart. Okay? A $5 gift from the heart is more powerful and impacting and influential than a $100 gift from the head. So if you're giving at the highest denomination or higher than that denomination, I pray that you're giving it from your heart. And in most cases, it's coming from the hearts. Particularly, many of you are sowing into a work of an individual that you've never really met, but you know in your heart of hearts, this is fertile soil. So I thank each of you. All right, let me look here before we close. Is there any feedback, any questions, any ahas? Hey, Todd, good to see you. Good to see you, Cheryl. Savananda. I believe that's how it's pronounced. If you want to come on and give us your pronunciation, you can do that. Go ahead and raise your hand if you got a question. I see one hand is up this morning. A couple of hands, Al and Savananda. I'm going to start with you as a guest. First of all, good morning. You have the mic. Can you give us the correct pronunciation of your name?
Okay, hi, good morning. This is Beverly. I'm
Hey,
sorry
baby.
that
Sure.
that's the I keep forgetting that name pops up. That's an organization I belong to, Seven Under.
Okay, okay. Well, maybe.
That's a natural foods co-op. But yeah, this is Beverly. Good morning. I just want to say good morning to everyone. I didn't see where to change my name, otherwise I would have changed it.
Okay. Good, good. So what's happening?
Not much. Thank you so much for great information. I got on kind of late, but I did catch the gist of the message. I like what you said about, and I just want to make sure I had this correct. I'm not just waiting, I am growing. I
Yes,
trust that my delay is my preparation. I know that my harvest is on its way. Is that correct?
that is very correct. That's from the
Okay.
that's the natural side of the equation, the present, but the spiritual side of the equation is not on its way, it's here. And so
Okay.
we have to balance that. Awesome. Great. It's good to hear your voice. How's the weather there in Georgia?
Well, we had a lot of rain last week, like most of the country, but the temperature has been great. Yeah, we've been getting some great weather this week.
Excellent. Well, you're sounding good. Your voice sounds strong, and I hope it's reflective of your energy level and what's going on in your life. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thank
And
you so much.
if you want to grab the front side of this before I send it out, you can go back into the YouTube and look at the YouTube lives from today, and it'll give you the front side. All right.
Okay, I will
Thanks.
do that. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Good, good. Awesome. Al, good morning. Are you letting me know you got some children I don't know about?
Not biological children, but I have children. I in the process of day to day living, I noticed that a lot of parents are somewhat frustrated with their adult children, and a lot of times they've expressed to me or feel that we've maybe spoiled our children a little bit. So could you just maybe let me know the difference between tough love and stopping their growth?
Oh, good, good, good. Stopping that growth is just that giving them everything at the request, in a sense, because some of the things they're requesting as their children, like a kid going into a store, you know that they are requesting maybe a Twinkie or some candy, but in 30 minutes dinner will be ready, and you know that it can impact their desire to have a wholesome meal. And then if you just acquiesce to their desire, now it has a domino effect. When they get home, they're not going to eat. So tough love is saying, not right now. It's giving them a delay. Or it could be, okay, I'm going to purchase this for you, but you're not going to eat it until after dinner. Tough love is you knowing that what they're going through is building resilience. Okay, so you're gonna let them go through it. Now, there's a difference if you know it's a life or death situation, then you use discernment. But most of what our children is dealing with isn't life or death. Okay, but it's that they've got themselves in a predicament and they want an exit plan and they want you to be the gatekeeper. So tough love is sometimes not giving that child the thing they have asked for it, and you have the ability to give it to them, but you are not giving it to them because you have a check in your peer, your spirit. Otherwise, it's just you're spoiling the child and you're spoiling their growth. And that's really important. And you see a lot of children are adults who are impatient. Now, I like to address that piece about we give our children everything. I personally believe that children should have happy childhoods. So without spoiling them, you want to build memories for them because you don't know what adulthood holds for them. And so one day, one of my children came to me and said that if things never go right in my life, the one thing I can look back is I had a happy childhood. That was worth more than gold to me because that was my goal, was just make sure they have a happy, stable childhood because that lends itself to healthy adults. Now, they didn't grew up and did some crazy things, but they didn't happen on my watch. So that's really important. All right. So all of us as parents, we have to realize I knew your mother, Ms. Voss, was a very astute business person. She had the wherewithal to give you everything, you and your brother, anything y'all wanted. But I know personally there was things that she didn't give you when you asked for it. Can you attest to that?
Yes, I would say that one of the things that they wanted us to realize, and they've always, even from a very young age, is they were preparing us to become adults and to leave their home and be successful. And so that's one of the things that I really appreciated, that she would always recommend or give you an opportunity to make your own decision. And sometimes I always tell people that I didn't even know that that word yes existed because I heard no so often. So, but
You
it's
didn't hear.
all good.
She really was saying not now.
Well, so
But
at that age, maybe I didn't recognize what it
right.
was no.
All you see is the first three letters of not now, the N-O, okay? And the now, the N-O, okay? Awesome. So good. Thanks, Al, for sharing this morning. Thanks for sticking around, Rachel. You have the mic.
Morning.
Good morning, Rachel.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Al, for serving up that cupcake and Brother Sar put the icing on it. So
Awesome.
that's definitely me. And
Awesome.
are you hearing the echo?
No, you good. You clear.
Okay. Okay. Two things when he was talking about giving the children everything. I think that was my mistake. Growing up 12 children in the country, not having a lot, and really being too present in their lives because
Mhm.
12 children, it was hard for our parents to give each child the attention that they need and really be present in their lives. So I can see where that stemmed, from me. And as what they say in the words of our current president, the fixer, want to call himself the fixer. I want to fix everything.
Right.
So, and another thing, when you was talking about the plant, something came to my mind because what my one of my older sisters, Mary, she reminded me of. We had a how seasons can trick you.
Hmm.
And we a couple of years ago we had a winter where all of a sudden the temperatures got so high here and the trees started to budding. And then it got cold and they didn't bud back out because the season tricked the trees. So give me your expound on that for me, how you think it's the season and it is the season, or I misread the season and I budded out when I should not have, and ended up I have not brought forth a harvest.
So there's a couple ways to look at that. Sometimes it's nature has a way of weeding out that seed that comes up too early. dies, is destroyed. And so that seed will not germinate into a new seed that will have that defect. So sometimes nature has a way of weeding us out. That that seed was pretty much extinguished, so it wouldn't create after its kind. Does that make sense right there?
Yes.
But
Yes.
then the wisdom of knowing, of discerning, though it may look like, but is it? Though it may look like, but is it? Though it may feel like, but is it? And that's so true in the time we live where everything is faux or fake. You got to begin to discern, is this really the season for that in my life?
Okay.
Is it the season for me to make this move? You know, sometimes we make moves prematurely because of anxiousness. So you always got to be making sure you're in alignment with the season. You'll know it, you'll feel it. Trust it, that you'll know when it's the season to blossom. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Excellent example. Excellent, good question. Well, that's all I have this morning. We're right at, excuse me, we're right at the top of the hour. And I look forward to seeing you guys, some of you on tomorrow night, others you on Tuesday, and perhaps all of you sometime through this week. Have a wonderful day. And then thank you for supporting the work. Peace.